Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the first story of the Harry Potter series by British author J.K. Rowling, which in its entirety revolves around magic through the little wizard Harry Potter in a slightly childish framework, but it is possible to consider the series aimed at all age categories. It was first released on June 30, 1997 in London under the name Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. But when the American version of it was released, as well as when it was translated into Arabic, it was the use of the magician's name, considering that the publishers thought that this second name it will have a stronger impact on the audience in the United States. At the world level, she achieved overwhelming success, and a film of the same name was made for her. The novel initially achieved not much success in the Arab countries, but with the decline of the rest of the series and watching the films that were produced about the series, the eyes began to turn. The novel's sales in Egypt have exceeded expectations for children's books. The film Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone is also Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in the USA, a fantasy film produced in 2001, based on the novel of the same name by author J.R.R. Tolkien. K. Rowling, the first part in the Harry Potter series, was directed by Chris Columbus and brought high profits. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. The Chamber of Secrets, the second book of the Harry Potter series by British author J.K. Rowling. K. Rowling. It was released in 1998 to complete what started in the first part, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. He achieved a hit that strengthened the prestige of the series around the world. The publishers did not differ in the name of the cabin. The Secrets, as it happened in the first part, where the American publisher thought that the name of the stone, the magician, is more attractive than the Philosopher's Stone, so the book was published under two different names in British and American editions. Story summary. Harry Potter receives a warning from the house genie Dobby, who comes to him at his Aunt Petunia Dursley's house to warn him not to return to Hogwarts School, and causes Harry to be locked in his room and prevented from returning to school. Ron Weasley and his brothers Fred and George come to Harry's rescue with their flying car, and after his stay at the Weasleys' house, Harry Potter gets acquainted with Nectarine Lane, Lucius Malfoy, the father of his Slytherin colleague Draco Malfoy, and also meets Gilderoy Lockhart, who becomes his mentor at Hogwarts. At school, the Chamber of Secrets opens and the year-old pupils begin to suffer attacks that lead to their complete freezing, and Harry discovers his ability to speak with a snake's tongue and believes that he is the heir to Slytherin, and is ostracized by his classmates. Hogwarts becomes threatened with closure, and Harry finds Tom Riddle's magic diary, in which he meets Tom Riddle, who was a pupil at Hogwarts 50 years ago, and Tom reveals to him the supposed conqueror of the Chamber of Secrets 50 years ago, and reveals that he is Rubeus Hagrid, the keeper of the Hogwarts keys and Harry's friend. Harry's girlfriend Hermione Granger is attacked and freezes. Ron's sister Jenny Weasley kidnaps Ron into the chamber. Harry follows her, and in the chamber he confronts Tom Riddle and discovers that he will grow up to become Lord Voldemort. This novel was made into a film. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban will once again return to Hogwarts for the third installment of the Harry Potter series. After blowing up his fist, Harry finds himself on the long but in the dark a few streets are hinging something different. Mysterious dark figures haunted him from the corner of his eyes. Fortunately he survived the night. Decker trio boarded the bus heading to London to escape his family and the stranger following his creation. Rescued from the Minister of Magic, Harry is reunited with his promising friends for his third year at school. But there is a black cloud on the horizon. Terrible criminality is on his banks and Harry, to his surprise, is hunting for the most evil. He is careful not to look for going to this criminal business. Sirius Black, the third Harry Potter book in which the story of the series as a whole began to take shape. They went on their innocent Hogwarts adventures from the previous books. The Prisoner of Azkaban is marked by a turn to the dark side that continued throughout the rest of the series. Terrible spirit-draining creatures called Dementors and bloody werewolves were introduced to the scene, and the book deeply takes a look into the past and the events that led to the death of his parents. Harry's focus is more on learning from the past and discovering that he is still a spiritual leader. With the enrichment of Harry's life background, and it is also clear to see the development of Harry's personality, that he is turning little by little from an innocent child who does not understand his destiny to a young adult. We are beginning to understand his destiny and responsibility. The interaction between the characters in the previous books, as explained, Fari discovers personal reasons for his master liking him. The bonds between Harry's parents and old enemies weigh over the Lycans, and the repercussions on their children form part of the growing theme in the series, which overflows with each book as the plot slowly unravels and the innocent and betrayed traitors are not quite as guilty as they used to seem. He wrote, "It ends especially because even though today is the price, she won and brings Harry back where he seemed alone." Within the walls of the Department of Mystery, the depth of the Ministry of Magic, lies some 16-year-old prophecy, foreshadowing the birth of a child, especially who has the power to defeat the Dark Lord. Lord Voldemort returned, desperate to learn the full truth of the prophecy, in pursuit of his goal of eternal life. "But why do I need to help the child with the matter, Harry Potter?" Harry himself has miraculously survived his newborn Lord Voldemort at the end of In the Goblet of Fire. You begin this story, the fifth in the series, thinking about the aftermath of recent events. Is Wizarding World aware of Voldemort's return? What is Harry secretly make friends every summer, and what are their Dementors let loose in the Henna campaign? The first question, at least, is the answer about Harry's return to the wizarding community where, instead of receiving heroes, he instead of welcoming finds himself the subject of a brutal smear campaign led by the Minister of Magic, Cornelius Fudge. Horrified by the implications of Voldemort's admission of the return, Fudge has instead turned on an enraged Harry Dumbledore, who accuses him of spreading panic and conspiring against the Ministry. Harry quickly finds out after the dangers of enemies in those high places. The whole burst into criminal trials ensue, when he said that the Ministry of Combat bases off Dementor attack violation of the reasonable decree without magic restrictions. The expulsion from Hogwarts, so that wizarding could be exiled from the world, prevented only from intervening in time to defend the Dumbledore speaker. Zara censors also extends to Daily Prophet, whereas Harry his derisive portrayal as a running after illusions attention seeker leaves him regretting, albeit less so, the reluctance of many school owners to believe his version of events. The most harmful of all, though, was his persecution of the installation of the Ministry of Defense against the Darkness, the art teacher whose unhealthy and often fiercely zealous offers to join the rumor of the abolition of the Ministry of Brevity. And unscalably homeschooled mountains, in preparation for the normal wizarding level exams, coupled with the increasingly destructive influence of the bridge gates inside Hogwarts, wouldn't Harry get up really nervous behavior? Sleep deprivation added to his list of torments, as he endures a series of eerily realistic nightmares that seem to provide flashes of insight into Lord Voldemort's consciousness. And indeed, the success in saving Arthur and Wesley after Harry imagined a potentially fatal attack on a mechanism confirms that these are not just dreams. Drawing on the strength of another such vision, his godfather, Sirius Black, is being held by Voldemort inside the Department of Mysteries. Harry makes for the Ministry of Magic, followed by several friends and ignoring their warnings that this will be a trap to trap him there. True, his friends' trap alarms is her orientation. Nor Voldemort. Sirius does not respond. The reception committee includes a team instead of Death. Voldemort ate him, tasked with retrieving the prophecy and delivering it to the Dark Lord himself. Harry and his friends give his Death Eater a slip, help to get named after him Order of the Phoenix, a group dedicated to the fall of Voldemort. He managed to escape from the Ministry. During the fight, however, Sirius, a member of the Order, was killed, and guilt left Harry overcome by the recklessness of his actions. Upon returning to Hogwarts, Dumbledore reveals the painful truth of Harry's prophecy, because neither he nor Voldemort while you can live another life. Voldemort has to be killed or killed by him. Perhaps, Sirius himself, who best sums up the theme of this book, Harry remarked, "The world is not divided into good people and Death ate it." The traditional lines between good and evil, cleverly blurring rolling notes that to effectively battle enemies, divisions between allies must first be overcome. Wizarding society is actually at risk of self-destruction without the dark side to raise a scepter in anger. Political ambition, personality, and sworn loyalty, demonstrated by Percy and Wesley disavowing his family in support of his Ministry employers, all further undermine the need for unity and togetherness, stressed Dumbledore on the first day of the term. Explore these topics, add unusual background depths in detail, a full chapter on Sirius's family tree, platform this volume to a whopping 766 pages, more than double some previous titles. Keeping the standard format for the book 1 is equal to 1 academic year, thus ensures that the work is slow-moving around the world. While some of the details mentioned can stand some trimming, the slower already reinforces the atmosphere of growing tension. Harry? The final explosion of sadness and sorrow in the Dumbledore's office carries out a greater effect of Rowling's carefully accumulating his mental stress, lets us again sympathize with the character that fits the mood through the previous chapters. We often seek patterns. That's really the book in which Harry begins to grow up, and fully understand for the first time the horrors that will consequences, wise, tense, and often annoying. Order of the Phoenix still a huge read all the time, the best in the series so far. Review of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. The 7th part of the Harry Potter series is finally in my hands. Harry's fate has been revealed as having the end of the story has come. Harry is finally alive, to the relief of most of his fans. But, in my opinion, every book has its significance and fulfilled its promises, providing adventures as well as emotions. Voldemort spread terror in the whole magical community, and now Harry has to protect the people by searching and destroying the Horcruxes to Voldemort who attacked his soul. The book also fatally describes the Sanctifiers who can control the death of the owner. Harry owns one of them, the Veil Robe. The book is sure to provide hours of enjoyment to traditional readers, but can also headache Hogwarts who bring only because of its popularity and have not read any of the previous parts. The climax of the book is also bone-chilling, big-screen heart-racing, according to the New York Times.